Hello, welcome to another lecture. In this lecture, we are going to be talking about how to add dimensions to our sketch. So let's start a new part file. Click OK. And on the front plane, I'm going to start a sketch. Let's draw a line, something like this. So we draw a triangle. And one thing that I should mention is anytime you make any sketch in SolidWorks, always make sure that your sketch is constrained to the origin point. Even if you draw your sketch somewhere in space over here or anywhere, you still always want to make sure that you tell SolidWorks using dimensions where that sketch is located in relation to the origin point. But the best practice is to always start your sketch on the origin point or somewhere close to it and use the dimensions. So for this, we've started on the origin point, and because we track this line along the vertical and horizontal, SolidWorks has automatically add those relation. And if yours does not have it, you can click the line and select vertical, and click this line and select horizontal to add those two relations. So to add that dimension, to fully define this sketch, what we have to do is select sketch dimension, not the smart dimension, and we can select this line and add our first dimension, 3, and we can select this line, add our second dimension, which is 2. Let's make it 2.5, and that is how you fully define a sketch and add dimensions. Let's delete that sketch and try another type of dimensioning method. So let's draw something like this. Draw something like that. Again, you don't have to use the same numbers I'm using, but because my unit is in inch, your unit might be in millimeters, so just use any number that makes sense. But the point of this lecture is just to show you how to dimension. So again, we have our sketch. So the first thing we can do is make this line horizontal, click it, add a relation. So to add our dimension, we can add the dimension down here, which is 5. To add an angle dimension, you select this line, your angled line, and the second line you want to add it to. So that gives you the angle, and we can make this 120. And another type of angle dimension you can add is on a line. So we can select a line that is at an angle like that, and if we click it, and if I move it somewhere over here, see, it's giving me that point-to-point dimension, but when I move it this way, it's giving me the align. So once you get the align option, click it once and add your dimension, which is, we can say 3 for this one. Then now we can move it up. So that is how you add an align. And another type of dimension you can add is, those are pretty much the basics. Then you can just add more dimensions to make this sketch fully defined. So we can make this 2. And you can see all these lines are black except for this. And if you don't know what you need to add to it to fully define it, so just take it and move it. And you can see the angle is still free. So one thing we can do on this line is add an angle dimension to it. So we'll select an angle and select that line, select this line, and add the angle to it. And let's make that 100. And that's how you dimension a part with an angle, aligned, and regular dimension. So what about a circle? So let's delete this. A circle is simple. So when you have a full circle and you add your dimension, and it gives you the diameter, so we can make this 6. And again, when you select your dimension, I can select this dimension. there's the dimension property over here where you can change the number of decimal places. You can add tolerance, and you can make it a reference. You can add symbols and different options down here. So this is just a property for the dimension, and the same thing applies to the ones we did earlier. So let's say we have a partial circle, something like this. When you add your smart dimension, SolidWorks will always give you the radius. So keep that in mind. When you have a partial circle, you'll get the radius. A full circle, you'll get the diameter. And those are the ways you dimension in SolidWorks. Remember, you need a relation and a dimension to fully define your sketch. And a fully defined sketch is going to be black. It's going to say fully defined down here, and you won't have the bracket with the minus sign in your sketch. And thank you. That is how you dimension in SolidWorks. And next, we will be taking all this knowledge to design some practice sketch. So I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.